Solitude is independence. These are the words of the famous German-Swiss author Hermann Hesse, and these words ring just as true today as when they were first written. Hesse's work primarily deals with authenticity and the search for self, through which he came to see solitude as critical to reaching one's authentic self and fulfilling their true potential, even if it doesn't always feel that way. The world we live in has created a currency out of socialization. Every day you're bombarded with advertising and media that try to ram an ideology that demonizes solitude down your throat. And whether you get married, have children, or make enough friends seems to be the major criteria that people judge their success by, even when there's so much more to get out of life. Those who see beyond the messaging that constantly praises marriage and popularity understand what poet May Sarton meant when she said that loneliness is the poverty of self, solitude is the richness of self. And this applies heavily to Sigma males, who are known as being the lone wolves of society due to their choice to walk away from the social pressures and expectations that most people live by, and instead choosing to carve out their own path in life according to their authentic inner selves. In this episode of Notes from a Sigma Male, let's go through the reasons why being alone is actually a superpower, with the insider knowledge that comes from being a Sigma male. Being alone is a sign of mental and emotional maturity. A lot of people live life with this impulse, a sort of restlessness that makes it hard to sit still and do nothing. And this is an immature impulse from the brain that is what bubbles up and makes it so hard for kids to sit still. The urge to constantly be doing something or engaged with something outside of our own minds is a sign that the mind has not truly formed to be at peace with itself. Being alone and engaging in more meditative, self-reflective practices is a way of training the mind to be at peace with itself, even when totally alone. Restlessness comes from a sense of inner discomfort and a need to be distracted from that comfort by external stimuli. Sigmas naturally cut through this noise. They know that the most important company you find in life is the company of yourself, and they dedicate themselves to finding peace within their own minds. This requires spending time alone and genuinely confronting the thoughts and emotions you find yourself encountering instead of running away from them and seeking some kind of external distractions. Only through this self-reflection and self-confrontation can true growth occur, and spending time alone is key to reaching this point. And before I go on, please do take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. It goes a long way in helping us to grow and makes it possible to create more of the content that you enjoy. Being alone lets you handle life better overall. Spending time alone develops your ability to look after yourself, instead of relying on other people or outside instruction for self-care. And studies show that an increased ability to tolerate time alone is linked to many positive elements across all areas of life, including higher levels of happiness, better life satisfaction, and improved stress management. Enjoying spending time alone has also been linked to a lower risk of developing depression, which just goes to show how well it improves your overall mental state and relationship with yourself. And this is true throughout life and something that you can benefit from as soon as you start practicing it. Even in children, encouraging them to spend time in solitude has been shown to help with emotional regulation and controlling unruly behavior. Just as kids can learn to better regulate their childlike impulses by spending time alone, so too can adults. And while it comes easily to Sigma males and is a big part of what makes them such stable and reliable characters, there really is no cutoff age at which you cease to be able to practice the art of solitude. Being yourself gives you time to process. Life is complex, and the things we go through on a daily basis truly demand a great deal of reflection in order to be able to process. Nowadays, people so easily reach into their pockets and pull out their mobile phones whenever they have a spare minute that few people actually take time to sit back and reflect on their experiences. Back in the day, it was far more commonplace to spend time alone and reflect on life through the process of journaling, but nowadays, people rely on their mobile phones, picture galleries, and social media to record their memories for them, instead of taking the time to do so for themselves. But processing the daily occurrences of your life is critical for learning from them, and ultimately for growth. Sigma males are so passionate about constantly improving and developing themselves that they relish the opportunity to take time out and really let their experiences sink in. They like to go over each day, identify the things that they would like to improve upon or do differently, and remember this as they move forward, improving themselves one day at a time. That being said, taking this time out to process and reflect doesn't just give you the chance to identify your mistakes or your shortcomings. It's also an opportunity to reflect on all the things for which you're grateful and come to develop a greater sense of appreciation for life. Sigmas have little care for material wealth or status symbols because they're not afraid to dedicate genuine time to reflect and appreciate more complex, meaningful things that they're grateful in life. Solitude helps you plan for your life. So many people seem to course through life, rolling from one day to the next with little regard for developing a sense of direction or working on their long-term plans. And while a degree of unpredictability should always be expected throughout life, there are simply some things that will not get done unless they've been planned. Whether it's your career, your personal goals, or even more short-term aspirations such as travel, proper planning goes a long way. Taking a step back from the hustle and bustle of daily life is how Sigma males utilize their time alone as a way of paving the path towards their future. You can think of the present as the point that connects your past and future. Right now is the time you have to assess what you've already done, figure out your goals, and translate these goals into an actionable plan for the future. Planning helps in reducing any uncertainties that may lie ahead, which is a big part of the reason why Sigma males so often find themselves succeeding in life. It is their ability to take time alone and truly plan ahead that allows them to navigate the unpredictabilities of life. Being alone means getting to know yourself. It sounds simple on the surface, but it's more complex than you might imagine at first. Despite what they might tell you, I truly believe that very few people in this world truly know themselves. I think most people drift through life with an idea of themselves that is more rooted in assumptions and aspirations than it is in reality. Spending time alone leaves you with nowhere to hide from yourself, and it forces you to get to know yourself as you truly are. What do you like? What do you dislike? What energizes you and what fills you with enthusiasm? What are you scared of? What are you lacking? What are you grateful for? And these are all questions that can only truly be answered if you give yourself the time and space away from other people to reflect and produce honest answers. A Sigma male's time alone is spent getting to know himself in this way, and this is what leaves him so capable of achieving his will and reaching a point of self-actualization. Knowledge is power. And to truly know oneself is a kind of superpower that can only be achieved by embracing solitude and spending time alone with oneself. So how do you deal with being alone? Are you more of a solitary creature, or do you rely on company and encouragement of others? When was the last time you were truly alone, and how did this affect you? Share your experiences and what you think of solitude down in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to check out the rest of the Bloke channel for more notes from a Sigma male. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.